look inside the apparently twisted mind of an accused child rapist and killer. 28-year-old Sunday school teacher Melissa Huckaby is charged with raping and murdering a beautiful, innocent little girl last March. That girl was 8-year-old Sandra Cantu. The last images of her captured in this surveillance video, happily skipping in the sunshine. It's on the very same day as she went to play with Huckaby's own 5-year-old daughter. Days later, Sandra's tiny corpse was found stuffed in a suitcase that was tossed into an irrigation ditch. And when Melissa Huckaby was arrested for her murder, her family came to her defense.
We're very, very shocked. It's very out of character for Melissa. We love her dearly.
Just what makes Melissa Huckaby tick? Reports from a custody officer in jail paint a very, very bizarre portrait. Quote, inmate Huckaby was hiding behind mattress with blanket around her neck to safety cell per psych, end quote. That means off to the padded cell for her. Meantime, just hours ago, in a dramatic courtroom development, prosecutors announced they will seek the death penalty for Miss Melissa Huckaby. I am back with my fantastic expert panel, and joining me now, Nikki Maduro, reporter with KFBK News Talk 1530 in Sacramento. Nikki, you were inside the courtroom today. So many dramatic developments, and we're also hearing so much about the defendant's cuckoo behavior in jail. How did Melissa Huckaby appear? How did she act in court today? And what were the major developments?
Well, she walked in and smiled at family. She seemed perfectly okay. She did have some marks on her arms, but no visible injuries to her face, which was different than earlier court appearances. She smiled, waved at family, sat down, appeared fine. And we pretty much thought nothing was going to happen.
Can I jump in for 1 second?
No problem.
So the video that we're looking at is old video of one of her earlier court appearances. She seems a lot happier than in this video where her lip was quivering and she was looking like she was having a breakdown, a different person.
Oh, completely different person. She seemed absolutely fine. Again, like I had said, no injuries to her face. Of course, we can't show any video now because of the gag order. And then we didn't think anything was going to happen because her attorney said they were not going to enter a plea. That's when prosecutors said they would be seeking the death penalty. Now, apparently, Ms. Huckaby and her attorney had some sort of falling out because her attorney asked for a hearing, which is only called when there's a breakdown in the relationship between the defense attorney and the defendant. Everyone is called out of the courtroom except the judge, Mrs. Huckaby, and her attorney. Apparently they resolved the issue because the judge denied Huckaby's ability to fire her attorney, and after that happened, that's when her attorney entered the plea of not guilty.
All right, according to a jailhouse custody officer's log, Melissa Huckaby was exhibiting some very strange behavior a couple of weeks ago. Quote, I saw Huckaby sitting next to her bed with a trash can. When I asked her what was wrong, she replied, I took pills. And then there was this one, quote, I found Huckaby laying on the floor next to her bed. She stated that she felt dizzy and passed out, end quote. Dr. Reef Kareem, can somebody get high behind bars? Can they take pills that are supposed to be administered for legitimate reasons and hold them and take them at once so that they get high?
Well, you can fake symptoms and try to get medications or pills from the jail doctor and see if maybe you could take more than you're supposed to. But no, it's very hard to do that. You know, I used to evaluate and assess people that were in the jails during my training. And this is an interesting case because you've got somebody who maybe has a mental health problem to start with. And because of that, you're seeing the excess stress and guilt and whatever else it is cause her to act erratically while she's in jail. Or you've got somebody who knows they're screwed. And because they're screwed, they have to start working on their defense, and they're working on their defense with their behavior in the jail cell.
Stacey Honowitz, so is all this cuckoo for Cocoa Puffs behavior a lead up to her pleading not guilty by reason of insanity, given now that prosecutors are seeking the death penalty?
Well, certainly she could be trying to mount a defense. The doctor's 100% right, but the first step is whether or not she's even competent to stand trial. That's the first hurdle you have to go through to determine whether or not you can even be in that courtroom when the death penalty is looking down your throat. So what she could be doing now is acting in that way, and maybe the breakdown was that she wasn't able to assist her lawyer or understand the proceedings, and maybe we're coming down the pike with a competency issue. And then later on, if she's deemed to be competent to stand trial, well, then the next step is she not guilty by reason of insanity? So all of these things could be playing a role in an upcoming defense.
Curtis Sliwa, I don't want to be in favor of the death penalty. I'm not, but I go back and forth because when I hear crimes like this, hideous crimes of raping a little child and sticking her in a suitcase, my head wants to explode, and I change my mind about the death penalty again.
Oh, thank God you've come over to the light side, away from the feckless, weak side of feeling sorry for these insane-in-the-brain individuals. Look, she is crazy. Anybody to do what she did to that young girl is crazy. But you know something? Plop, plop, fizz, fizz. Let's open up the death center in San Quentin, the gas chamber, and just eliminate her life because we don't need her around. Not people like this.
Well, it's a sick, sick case, and Nikki Maduro, great job there as a reporter, and you'll come back the next time she's in court, I'm sure. We've been talking about drug abuse with the gorilla.